Hey, what's up, everyone? Maroney here. So, yesterday premiered the last episode of Adventure Time. Yes, Adventure Time is finally over, and of course, I had to talk about it. Adventure Time has been running since 2010, I want to say, so about 8 years, and it's been a very influential show, not just for Cartoon Network, but for animation as a whole. It has influenced a lot of people and brought a lot of people back into animation, and a lot of people who worked on that show have gone out to create their own animated shows, and it's helped Cartoon Network a lot. Like Steven Universe from Rebecca Sugar. Rebecca Sugar used to work on Adventure Time. I think the creator of OK Go. So Adventure Time is a very important show, and I think it's something that did help me get into animation. Like I said, I think a lot of other people who were kind of maybe moving away from it, it felt like something new and something different, or something we hadn't seen in a long time. And it was a great show. So I wanted to talk about the last episode, a quick review, recap, and my thoughts about the series and everything. So the final episode premiered yesterday, called "Come Along with Me," which is the ending theme song of the series. And I really enjoyed it. I don't want to say it was perfect. There were some things that I didn't enjoy, but overall, I enjoyed that episode. A lot of the characters from the series showed up on it, and it gave us endings to a lot of things that the show has been building up to, like the Ice King, and a lot of moments I think people were really hoping that were going to happen between, Marceline and PB. So overall, it was a really enjoyable episode. I wanted to say that I wish it was a little bit sadder. There were some sad moments, but when it ended, I felt okay. I kind of wish I felt really sad that it was ending, but I felt okay. Like I said, it's a good episode. If you're a fan of the series and you fell out, definitely go check it out and watch the few episodes before it so you can maybe understand what's going on. It's a good episode. It's a decent ending. It's not a perfect ending. Endings are just hard to make, because Adventure Time didn't have like an overarching story where like Finn and Jake had to save the world or something like that, and that's how the story ends. And most episodes are standalone, and there's continuity, but there wasn't like a big bad that they had to defeat besides the Lich, which they did a long time ago. So they kind of set up a bad guy at the end, and he was defeated, and they kind of give an ending to a lot of the characters. Some good, and some just kind of, I wish we would know more. But it's one of those endings that lets you know that, hey, just because Adventure Time is over with Finn and Jake doesn't mean their adventures ended. I think BMO even says it that, their lives went on, and they just lived their lives, and things continued on. And the series, this final episode, kind of said that, hey, Adventure Time isn't over. Adventure Time with Finn and Jake is over, but there's always adventure out there to be had. And I did like that, kind of commentary that this episode was trying to say that, yeah, maybe this show is over, but there's a possibility that there could be a second Adventure Time with these characters or new characters or whatever. But just that the adventure never ends. There's always someone interesting out there, or some interesting characters that lead to interesting stories. So yeah, it was a great episode. Not perfect, but really good. I really did enjoy it. And I give this episode an 8 out of 10. If you haven't seen the episode, go check it out. It's really good. If you're a fan of the show, of course you have to go watch it. If you haven't watched the show in a while, like I said, you can go check it out. I don't know if it's online or anything. Like for me, I missed the episode yesterday, and I went out and I bought the final 3 seasons DVD. It just came out today. It contains the final episodes, contains the last 3 seasons, 10, 9, and 8. So if you're behind, buy that and you can catch up. Great buy. I was happy that it came out today, so I didn't have to go searching for the last episode online. So, alright, I want to talk about the final episode, and of course it's going to contain spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. This is going to be your final warning. I'm going to count to 5, and then boom, into spoilers. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. You've been warned. Get out of here. So this episode, the final episode, Come Along With Me, starts like 1,000 years in the future, I believe it is, with Shermie and Beth. Beth is like one of Jake's descendants. She's like this big old doll with a little horn. So one of his kids great grandkids or something like that. I don't know. So it takes place super in the future, and Shermie and Beth are just fooling around, kind of like Finn and Jake usually do. And they end up finding Jake's metal arm, and they're like, "Whoa, where did this come from? We want to know." So they track down the King of Ooo, who turns out to be BMO on top of this mountain. So BMO's like, "Oh, this belongs to my best friend, Phil." Of course, BMO doesn't remember Finn's Jake, even though he lived with him for a long time. Or, yeah, Finn's name, even though he lived with him for a long time. So he starts telling them the story about the arm and the big final battle of Ooo. So the final battle is Princess Bubblegum and her forces, all her friends and allies from throughout the series, and then her uncle, Uncle Gumbald, who's a fairly new character. I think he appeared in the 9th season or the end of the 8th season. I can't remember. Anyway, him and his candy forces and all the evil bad guys throughout the series, except for the Lich, team up and they're gonna do battle. But Finn, who has grown a lot through the series, is just like, before I would have jumped right into this war and I would have had a blast or whatever, but I've changed. There must be a way to talk this out, and he keeps trying to convince PB, but she just isn't having it. And in a previous episode, he tried to talk to Uncle Gumball, but he wasn't having it either. So he's like, let's just talk one last time and see where it goes. And they go and talk, or Uncle Gumball, PB, and Finn and Jake and Fern. They go to talk, and Finn just smashes this crystal that sends them into this nightmare realm, hoping that they'll be able to learn about each other. So it kind of ends up working through this nightmarish world. PB and Uncle Gumball kind of switch roles, and they kind of become themselves in the past. And PB learns how Uncle Gumball was when he got that dumbed down potion on him, and you know how hard it was for PB to run this kingdom on her own. And then Fern and Jake, you know, finally make amends because Fern finally sees that Jake, or Finn, I don't know, I keep calling Jake, Finn has all this, you know, trauma just like him. So anyway, they come out of it, and then PB's like, okay, peace, and Uncle Gumball agrees. And he tries to betray her, but he gets that silly juice on himself, and he becomes the dumb punch bowl again. And everyone thinks it's like, it's okay, it's the end. PB and Aunt Lolly are like, okay, peace. And it's about to end, but out of nowhere, this giant demon thing called Golb comes out of nowhere. Because Normal Man and Betty summoned him. They were seen chanting earlier in the episode. So they summoned Golb because Betty was hoping that he would be able to save, or she would be able to save Simon with him. And Normal Man was hoping to save Marble, I think her name is, his wife or fiance or girlfriend, I can't remember who she was, using Golb's power. But Golb uses his evilness to turn a bunch of the candy citizens from Uncle Gumball's world into evil demons. And it turns into this big epic battle. And a lot of crazy things happen. PB and Marceline kind of cement their love for each other. Something that's been teased and kind of said in past episodes, and they actually kiss in this episode, which is pretty exciting for a lot of people. But they pretty much ended up losing, but the way they ended up kind of succeeding is that BMO, these monsters, because there ends up being two, smash the treehouse, and BMO's in it, and Jake's just like super sad, so BMO starts singing this song, and it starts hurting the monsters, and PB realizes that the harmony of music is the opposite of chaos, which is Golb. So it's hurting them. So they use it to defeat the monsters and kind of hurt Golb a little, but not really kill him. And inside of Golb is Betty, Simon, and Finn, because they got eaten earlier. And the crown's powers deactivated. The crown reset, so Ice King becomes Simon. So Betty, a little hole opens out so they can escape, and they're like, yes, but Betty stays inside. And she's like, the crown is reset, I can use it to defeat Golb. And so she kicks Simon out, and Finn, they escape, and she uses the crown to pretty much fuse with Golb. And it's kind of a sad ending right there. She finally saves Simon, something she's been trying to do for a long time now, since like a few seasons, 3 or 4. And it's a really sad moment because she had to fuse with Golb and sacrifice herself to save Simon. And he's really sad about it, but he's finally free from the crown's curse, which is a good ending for him. But the crown comes out of Golb And then Gunther takes it and he puts it on and he wishes to become the Ice King. So there's still an Ice King, which is kind of funny. He's just as crazy as the regular Ice King. So the show pretty much ends in a montage showing everyone's lives, all the things that came to pass, or not all the things, but just short things of what's going on. Like Lippy Space Princess becomes a queen. The new Ice King marries Turtle Princess, or whatever her name was, from the library. A lot of crazy things happen. Not really crazy, but a lot of things happen. And then we go back to the future with BMO telling the story, and with Shermie and Beth. And it kind of ends with them going to look for the tree because Fern dies at the end of the episode, and he gets planted where the old treehouse was, and he kind of grows. So they go looking for this tree, looking for the fern tree, and they find it, and they climb all the way up it, and they find the Finn sword, and that's where it kind of ends. They kind of do the Adventure Time pose with holding up the Finn sword and everything, and that's the end of the series. The end. Like I said, there were some emotional moments. I like that Simon was saved, but it's still a little sad because in the montage you see him trying to find a way to save Betty, which is probably never going to happen. I kind of wish they got their happy ending after both their suffering. Kind of really sad. And I kind of wish we saw Finn's life in the future when he was an adult, who he married or whatever. But it was a decent ending. Like I said, not perfect, but I enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it an 8 out of 10. And it's really sad to see the series end. Like I said, Adventure Time, very influential. It's influenced a lot of people. A lot of great creators have come out of the show. And we're probably going to get a lot of great creators because of this show. Kids who grew up watching it and who were influenced by it, you know, how different this show was from a lot of other shows. You know, it started really simple, but it had a lot of depth to it, which is something I really enjoyed. I mean, just the Ice King story, Simon, you know, very deep story with this character and a lot of other characters. So it was a great show. It was real fantastic. I'm sad to see it go, but I feel like maybe the creators were running on fumes because the show is a lot different from it was in the beginning, and it's kind of like Finn. Like Finn didn't want to go to war at the end of this episode. In the first, few episodes, the first seasons, he was very hyper, very into getting into fights, into combat. That was his answers for everything. I'm just gonna punch something. But by the end of the series, it was a lot more calmer. A lot of episodes were a lot more calm. I guess less exciting energy to it. It was just like the show grew up and with a lot of people. So still great show, still fantastic. Like I said, it was on since 2010, 8 years, 10 seasons, over 100 episodes. Really fantastic. If you haven't seen the show, go watch it. It's really great. I can honestly go on and on, but like I said, it's just a great series that I am going to miss. Very influential. I've said that plenty of times. And, go buy the final season. Go watch this final episode. If you stopped watching it 5 years ago, I think you still owe it to yourself to watch this final episode because it is good. And it's a good, decent ending. I wanted a little bit more. I wanted to shed tears, I guess, for this final episode, and it's just something I didn't. I guess they gotta focus a little bit more on the character moments. But overall, a good episode. It's hard to make a good final episode, so I think they succeeded. It's not perfect, but they succeeded. And that's it. What do you guys think of the final episode of Adventure Time? Let me know in the comments below. Did you hate Adventure Time? Did you love it? Did you watch it throughout the years? Did you stop watching it? Just let me know. Give me your opinion of the show, how it influenced you. As always, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out. Hey, if you like this video, we have several other awesome videos you can check out. And again, thanks for watching.